Arrived at Stadium and Gale.
Snap, the kick, it's been blocked again! Oh my! It's been blocked again! He's going to heave one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone! It's a touchdown! And the Gators have won the game! Tyree Cleveland! Oh my! I can't believe what I just saw! Dropping back to throw, pops and fires the ball over the middle. It's Nori! It's Nori! Got a touchdown! Nori's got a touchdown! Oh man! Nori's got a touchdown!
Hands it off to Harvin. He comes back. Say goodbye.
Ahmad Black, in his final game as a Gator, takes it all the way home and sends Urban out a winner.
You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, dogs and cats, birds and fish. Welcome to another Stadium Miguel. It's your boy Corey.
And
Same corner.
Tory.
No 2-5 today.
You left out the B's. No 2-5. 2-5. Triple A.
It happens, man. I had to deal with AAA and roadside service last week. Sometimes those times and ETAs they give you be egregious, man. But same corner, 1 hour later. We appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. Make sure y'all like, subscribe. We're finna have some fun. We got quite the docket, man. How y'all boys weekend? Solid?
it was a good weekend, man. Gasparilla weekend here in Gainesville or in Tampa. Always
As you get older and more mature, Dan, straying farther and farther away from past Bender days.
sure.
What does Gasparilla look like for a newly 37-year-old Dan Thompson?
Yeah, no. So we it was relatively low key this year. Hung out. Where I live in Tampa, you have to participate or you have to stay inside or you have to leave. There's no way of getting around the city, right? So,
Big bullying.
I'm sorry.
Big bullying.
Right. Yeah. So went to a friend's house that lives over on Harbor Island. Then we walked in. So if you've never been to Gasparilla, it's this mythical made up pirate that invaded the city of Tampa years ago. This parade's been going on 121 years, I think. So they have this big pirate ship come through and dock, and then they do this invasion of pirates, and then there's a massive parade after. So we went and watched that, and then we went back away from the crowd, and then we went back to finish the end of the parade, and then just kind of an easy chill kind of day compared to what I've done in the past. Those days are beyond me. Can't do it anymore.
I believe in you. Not with that attitude, but I do believe in you.
Yeah, man. Those days, I've moved on. I've grown up. So I'm quiet.
Allegedly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Never grow up, Peter Pan. Never grow up.
Yeah, so I never grow up. So did that yesterday. Watched the football games. Brooks and Eagles fans, so cheered them on. Could not cheer on the Bills. Did not want to cheer on the Chiefs either. So just rooted for good football. So
Yeah, Dolphins fan, like in my fantasy football group, one of the guys is a Bills fan, and there's 3 or 4 Dolphins fans in the fantasy football group, and everyone was like, shout out to Joe, hey Joe, rooting for the Bills. It's like, absolutely not. It's like the Bills can go to hell. So can the Jets. So can the Patriots. I'm like, absolutely not. I will root for Patrick Mahomes to win the next 17 AFC championships if the Bills are playing against him. Nothing, no respect, no love. Also, I feel like Mitch Trubisky was so bad that we overlook that when the Bills had Tyrod Taylor as their quarterback, they traded a draft pick to Kansas City, which Kansas City then used for Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, I think the quarterback situation's kind of worked out for Buffalo in the meantime.
How's it?
I mean, obviously
one
not
guy's got a couple
Mahomes,
rings and the other
but-
guy's just long hair. He lives essentially in Canada.
Essentially. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't blame it on Josh Allen yesterday, but
No. But I also don't
it's
like how
we don't ever
how
retreat those.
differently we treat Lamar and Josh. Yesterday it was all, oh man, they got to get Josh some help. Oh man, if Josh just had some help. There's a fantastic offensive line. James Cook's a great running back. You also chose Keon Coleman instead of Xavier Worthy, who torched you yesterday.
Yeah.
And then when Lamar loses, it's like, yep, see, that kind of backyard football is never going to win a Super Bowl. And it's like, why are we treating these two guys differently?
Nick, I can't help but think that there's probably an underlying reason that I am not supportive of.
I don't like it. I don't like the way that we talk.
You want for Ryan Clark,
about Lamar when he loses, and then yesterday yesterday it's all like, man, feel bad for Josh. Wish he had more talent around him. Shut up.
Yeah, I think both guys have a lot of talent
Jackson,
around them. I think they got to find a way to win and get over this hump, this Mahomes hump. Right now, Mahomes is just the Brady of this era. But to me, both guys got to find a way. They had players around them that kind of let them down, but I thought both could perform a little bit better. And it comes with the job, bruh. Like I like to be hard on Lamar Jackson just because that's what comes with the quarterback position. I think he's a more talented quarterback, but let it all play out. Maybe Mahomes will let them win one soon.
I think it's just very. Yeah, I think it's hard to win in the NFL. I think it's hard to win in any league, and I think it's hard to blame it on one player. I think.
Oh wait, sorry. Gators wanted to let me know that I forgot that it was tennis and Josh and Lamar played solo.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing.
The Ravens. It was just my bad. Sorry.
Yeah. But I think that there's, it falls on everybody, win or loss, right? Sometimes it works out in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. I certainly, some of the play calls, their tush push certainly isn't as effective as Philadelphia's tush push, right? And at that point, you're like, okay, maybe this isn't working out. I remember back in the day when they used to run I formation when it was 4th and 1 and get those big bruisers, get a William Perry out there, But those days,
fullback, baby.
Yeah,
salt of the earth people. Talk about CTE. What a position. Hey, we need you to just go slam your head into somebody so this other guy can score a touchdown.
For league minimum.
Yeah, for a league minimum and about 4 roster spots in the NFL right now, right?
And back then, league minimum was
carpenter salary.
Yeah, maybe even less than that, man. I think the Dolphins have a fullback. So shout out to old school football, Mike.
I know we're talking NFL, but my Jags are back.
It's weird. A disaster.
No, they're not.
No,
he gave that was a gentrified Duval. He gave a regular Duval before he got to commercialize it before he went public. But when he first got in the building, he gave us a good strong Duval. And then when he got to the presser, it was Duval.
Yeah. Do you think he drove around the city in between and then he's like, oh man.
They gave him the Moncrief tour.
And my excitement has that story. I would love to see an actual 30 for 30 on that, because there was all sorts of rumors coming out about where he was, where he wasn't. His child being in the doctor's office. His wife had to post a picture of his child at the doctor's office. The whole thing. It would be a great, maybe not a 30 for 30, but maybe one of those ESPN shorts they do during the NFL season.
That, he was in Jacksonville, and then he drove back home to Tampa, and he just realized that Jacksonville was a much better city. He was just like, bro, I need.
No, I don't think so, Corey. I think the $40 or $50 million difference in contract. Listen, I mean, I hope for them and for him. There's just not a lot to cheer about in the city of Jacksonville. So I hope the Jaguars have found their coach long-term and, somebody that's able to develop Trevor Lawrence. And, obviously I don't want teams to be bad. And there's enough bad
things
stuff
are on the
there.
up in Jacksonville, man. We got bigger problems with our owner, but shout out to Cohen. Cohen said no the first time. We got general manager fired. We get Cohen back into town. Now we may get some good, play calling and offense and talent acquisition going on. We'll see, man. Much needed in Duval, though.
Yeah, I mean,
so you would say the team slogan for the Jaguars is no doesn't mean no.
Wow.
I'm
I would
not,
go on
I'm
record
not
saying that, Corey.
confirming or denying that, man. Trying to stay uncanceled on these streets.
Okay. What about you? Maybe Trevor Lawrence just isn't who we thought he was.
That's been crossing my mind a little bit. It's not the quarterback draft to really try to find his replacement. I tell you that. Just wait a couple more years. Either Arch Manning or DJ Lagway type of guy. Then we probably could tank, try to get a quarterback. But yeah, like Trevor Lawrence not being the guy has crossed my mind plenty of times, brother.
So like you
hey man, never mind, man. Let's move on. Enough of my Jags. Enough of my Jags.
Process of losing him status.
Yeah, it isn't a Jacksonville podcast.
Sorry. Listen,
unfortunately,
it's stones and glass houses. We've got Matt Patua. Lord knows what the Dolphins are going to look like next year.
Yeah, I mean, all of your problems that exist in Jacksonville exist in Miami. We just have better jerseys,
significantly.
Yeah,
y'all need to go back to the
teal and black hit, bro. I like our color scheme. It hits. Like sometimes we put a funky combination together, but when they figure out the right combo, the black and teal, all black, the all teal, it hits.
Yeah, no, it works. I mean, I like those old Fred Taylor jerseys. Nick doesn't, because Nick doesn't think those colors should be in the Pro Bowl for Fred Taylor.
Bro. I do.
Yeah, Fred Taylor texted him.
I like that. Gators.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Gators said he's still better than turned the ball over.
Yeah. And then Justin, shout out Justin, man. Every city is better than Tampa. I don't know if you're talking about the world, the United States, the state of Florida. So provide some more commentary. Would love to hear more about that. But let's get into the show, shall we? We got some news. Nick, are we allowed to break the news that you texted or no?
Yeah, let's still cross the people.
All right, yeah, you
cross-reference.
Yeah, you cross-reference that, and then let's get in. Yeah. All right, Corey, why don't you do a quick read for Brunt Insurance and
Stadium and Gale is powered by the great folks at Brunt Insurance and Financial Services. Anything you may need insure: a car, your life, your automobile, your motorcycle, tractor trailer. If you got a tractor, you got a farming equipment, or any other financial services, visit bruntinsurance.com or give Greg a call at 954-589-2204. Quote is absolutely free. I'm pretty sure he could beat whatever prices you have. So if you're in the Southeast, most importantly to Florida, from the Panhandle to the Keys, hit my man Greg up, 954-589-2204. Big coverage, big policies.
Nick?
Greg, what to do, baby?
Perfect. All right, guys. Big news over the weekend. The Gators moved quickly on an interview to a hire. They announced that Vinny Sunseri, son of Coach Sunseri, that coached at Florida for Sal Sunseri for what, one year?
I'm not sure it was 1 or 2.
Yeah, I think before he went back to Alabama. But Vinny Sunseri, former safety at the University of Alabama. Sal actually went and coached him over there. But he's going to be joining UF as the safeties coach and co-defensive coordinator. He spent just last year at the University of Washington. The 3 years previous to that, he was the running backs coach for the New England Patriots under Bill Belichick. He was a defensive coaching assistant with the Patriots and a graduate assistant at Alabama in 2020 and 2019. Gentlemen, maybe not the name folks had wanted or expected out of that co-defensive coordinator position. Obviously, Austin Armstrong left the program to become the defensive coordinator at University of Houston a few weeks ago. Gators had an open spot. Austin Armstrong also coached the safety position as well. So, again, maybe some Gator fans wanted some bigger names. Maybe they wanted some change at the overall defensive unit leadership position. I'll say this, and then I want to hear all your thoughts on about Vinny Sunseri. I don't think you make position coach hires if you think you're on the verge of making a defensive coordinator change because those folks will want to bring on their own people. So co-defensive coordinator, maybe a title to try to get him over. But
I don't think
gentlemen,
none of
your
our
thoughts?
DCs have made any hires so far, though. Like, how many hires have they really made? We've changed DCs, but have they any of them brought in their own crew yet?
I don't think so because of the nature at the time that they've hired their DCs. And I don't know if I don't know. So the first go around, you kind of hired them all at the same time. So I don't know what his
First go around, you just brought Patrick Toney with you.
Right. You brought Patrick Toney over and then you made hires. And I would assume that he was involved in that interview process. And then Patrick Toney left after the NFL season, probably after contract time. And I don't know if you could trust Austin Armstrong to make the changes, or you say, hey, this is what you're getting by being the linebackers coach at Alabama to come here. Right. And then Ron Roberts was, after Jay Bateman left to go to Texas A&M, he got hired. So I think timing's not worked out, but you make a valid point there.
And, well, also Armstrong was 29 years old when he was hired. He turned 30 before the season, but it was
Vinny Sinceri is 33 years old for those keeping score.
33. That's was that Celtic Shaq?
Celtic Shaq. It was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is 33 too, right?
You know, we go with Kareem.
Or was he 32? That doesn't. Yeah. But Corey, Nick, what are your thoughts? Corey, I don't know if you're right in your thoughts, Sam, but
like I think I was listening to Corey doing logo talk. There's a lot of young hires. This would, at least on the surface, signal or make me think, hey, we're sticking with Ron. You probably, like, you gave Austin the DC title to get him away from Alabama. He had literally just got to Alabama and only had the linebacker title. Went from DC at Southern Miss to just a linebackers coach. You give him a DC title at Florida to get him over. I don't know that did you need to do that to get Vinny Sinceri? Were you that enamored with him in the interview process that you're like, hey, let's do this? Who's going to call plays?
Do you think,
I'm guessing it would still be the DC, the main DC?
Nick, I've got a question for you. Do you think there's maybe a clause in the contract that Florida might have to do a buyout if you give like a different title, or there's like a DC buyout?
No.
Okay.
A lot of the assistant coaches' contracts have buyout terms, but I don't know a single assistant coach who doesn't have offsetting language.
Gotcha.
In their contract. So, like, to make it easy, if Florida's paying somebody $100,000 and they fire him, and the next place pays him $100,000, Florida doesn't know that coach anymore.
Right. I like that you used $100,000, knowing how unrealistic it is that Florida pays anybody.
It's a nice round number.
Yeah. No.
I think these hires that he's making, like Patrick Toney, Austin Armstrong, Vinny Sinceri, I think all these guys are eventually going to be real good coaches. I just think we're reaching and hiring these guys at roles too early. I know some people are saying that, it's just a title. Somebody said it in the comments, but it's a little tricky, man, with hiring people into rooms where you're bringing in somebody younger, less experienced on paper, and they getting titles and roles over guys that are on the staff that have proven a little bit more, have more of an extensive resume. You can create a funky work environment in that instance. And I think that did create an atmosphere even when Austin Armstrong got the job and came on board. Just from what I know behind the scenes, I think Bateman was one, allegedly, this is all parody. Bateman was a little offended. It's a parody show. It's not real life.
This is a parody show.
But Bateman wasn't really feeling that at that time. Right.
Well, right. Corey Raymond,
and that's the environment that you even bring in. Like, I'm all for even nepotism in the right position. I just think right now it looks on the surface like you're hiring younger friends. Like, younger people that's in your network to come in and give them opportunities that they haven't quite deserved yet. And Florida's just not the job for that, bro. If you look at around the league, you look around college football, people with those titles have a real track record and experience, man. I think right now, total of seasons, like per staff, I was just doing some math and just, aligning us with Georgia. I think Georgia has 48 seasons, like Power 4 football seasons under their belt as a staff. And Florida's half of that.
Wow. It's good research,
I had
Corey.
time this weekend, man. The highest is just like on my mind a little bit in a lot of different capacity. I want to continue to talk about Sincere, but in essence, he's replacing Austin Armstrong, who's your safety guy. You give him the same exact role. I don't know if you probably upgraded because Vinny's played on the field before. He comes from that Saban tree, but so did Austin Armstrong. So just playing experience is probably what you got out of that. He probably knows the safety position a little bit better. You're back to 2 defensive coaches, so I do like that part of it. But like I said, I don't like the inexperience. You got guys like Al Golden at DC spots in college football. You have Chip Kelly at an OC spot. You have Jim Knowles at a DC spot. Older veteran guys that have been around college football that has a wealth of knowledge, and this is who you got to compete with. So
yeah, I mean, you saw Penn State went and hired the defending national champions defense coordinator to be their new defense coordinator, highest paid defense coordinator. That is a program that, in my opinion, wants to win. Will they? I don't know, but to me, they're showing the effort to do so. I'm not at all dogging Vinny Sincere. I don't know, right? He was an analyst, a graduate assistant for a year.
He's a paisan.
Yeah, he was a graduate assistant. Then he was an offensive analyst and coach, right? Running backs coach for the Patriots. And then he spent 1 year coaching defense to then get the defensive coordinator title. I know he learned under his dad, who's probably one of the better offensive line coaches in the last 30 years. Definitely probably top 10. I know that he learned under Nick Saban. I know he was a hell of a ball player. But when all of the news this offseason is about how much money the Gators have, how much they're going to invest in the transfer portal, how much they're going to invest in the program, it leaves me wanting more. And maybe I didn't set my expectations to what that meant. And maybe I fell into the trap of things would be different when things are going to probably stay the same.
Especially
and that's the way that I
hearing the
view
name
it.
Muschamp. Like that was kind of leaked out there to the people that they were interviewing, and Muschamp was interested in the job. So you go from Will Muschamp possibly being your DC, and then it makes me also wonder if, like something that you were speaking of, hiring the DC, I don't know if he wanted to make overall changes and just fire a whole defensive side of the ball, because I don't think you hire Will Muschamp and he's just gonna go with the crew you got over here. He's gonna wanna bring his guys in. So
Sure.
It just leaves a lot of question marks in my mind of like, what's that process look like? But you can't go from Muschamp to trying to sell me Vinny Sincere. Like, I'm just not buying it, bro. Like, if we're trying to compete with the best teams in college football and go win a national championship, these are not the hires you go make when you're trying to go win a natty. Like, experience, everything on paper. It ain't just about splash hires. It's about making the correct hires to elevate your play on the field. And so far this offseason, I don't think we've done anything to elevate and improve from what we saw last year.
Yeah, hit that like button. No, I think that you're 100% right. I appreciate you for saying that. Fragrance. And then Jim Knowles by himself is making half of our entire assistant coach budget.
Yeah.
Did I see 3.1 million?
3 years. Yeah.
That's a solid amount of money. But no, Corey, I think that that to me, no coach is a surefire, right? For the most part, there's very few coaches ever in history that have translated completely from one to another. I just have questions right? I don't know what the rest of the staff looks like, and we'll find out. There's some contracts expiring in 4 days. I think there's going to be another hire or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The parody show, though. You know what I mean? I think there's going to be some changes, but I'm curious to see how those are handled. Right. So I'm going to give this one an incomplete right now because I don't know what the rest looks like. And maybe they bring in a fantastic edge coach, right? And somebody that can really add to that room or, really try to make the defense better should there be a departure or another departure. What does that look like? So to me, the staff is still incomplete. So the grade's incomplete. But right now we're not trending in the direction that all the insiders and everybody was told that this offseason would go. We're told it's going to be a little bit different. And I'm not seeing a lot different. I'm not trying to be negative. Just I see, my eyes see what they see.
Well, the staff's complete. On paper, you have staff's complete. As the company line goes, Dan.
No, there
is no position to
there
fire.
There are no positions open. That's right. Yeah, the line can end. There are no current positions open, and Florida has
due to expire,
a full coaching staff.
Renewed.
Yeah, but so that's a decision that can be a handshake agreement. Like, hey, we're going to keep you. We're going to give you an extension, and then Billy would go to Scott. Be like, hey, we're bringing back so and so, and the coaches are not going to not show up to work until they have a signed contract that's been read over by the lawyers. They're like, all right, cool, that works.
We got to give them an incomplete until everybody's
on the recruiting trail
kind of signed up, and then we can give our full opinion of the staff as intact. And then we know all the coaching moves are kind of finalized, and we still got a general manager. I think we keep we just saying if everything stays intact, everything won't stay intact. That's my take. So if what is on paper right now stays, I don't think we keep Will Harris and maybe another coach on the defensive side of the board. It is a parody show, but those are strong opinions on my end, and that Will Harris won't stick if Ron Roberts sticks.
Strong reading opinions.
So I don't think we're done regardless.
I don't think we're done. You got to lift the hat here, give a little wink. I think that I do think that there's more changes. I don't know if all of those changes will make Gator fans happy. I don't know what the blowback could be. I just look at where we're at now, and I don't know if today Florida is in a better position to compete for a national championship. Even compete for the SEC championship today than they were 2 months ago. And that's how you have to evaluate your offseason. You have some good talent.
Playoff team, Dan.
Well, if you're playing for the SEC championship, you're probably in the playoff.
Yeah.
I left him speechless.
You could do the Ohio State route. Because I remember posting this to Twitter.
Yeah, I think Florida's going to go and tamper with what was his running back's name from Ole Miss and get him over there to be the backup running back.
Quinchon.
Yeah.
Quinchon Judkins. Yeah. That was wild. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad he's going pro. He needs to go do grown folks things, man. Yeah. It's time. Yeah, for sure, man.
Stop playing with these kids. Go play. Go play.
I don't know what to wait for. We're so patient and so slow, methodical. Like all these programs in football season, they just go snatching, poaching big boy coordinators, and we're taking our time to get Jacksonville State's new defensive coordinator. I just don't get it, man. I don't want to keep harping on it, but I just don't understand any of it.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention that he was at Jacksonville State for a couple of weeks. What an upgrade, though. No offense to Jacksonville, Alabama. I'm sure it's better than Jacksonville, Florida, but crazy. Jacksonville, Alabama to Gainesville. That's saved yourself. It was a good opportunity. I'd jump out in a heartbeat.
Would you live in Jacksonville, Alabama before you lived in Jacksonville, Florida?
I don't see myself doing that.
Anybody that's living in Alabama on purpose is crazy. If you don't work for the Crimson Tide,
there's some
then
great
you
places
probably
in
should.
Alabama.
I
Mobile is
bet. I'm pretty
beautiful.
sure.
Tuscaloosa is beautiful. Well, Mobile, I've not been to Mobile. I lied. Birmingham, I've been to, and Huntsville. Both nice little towns.
No. Well, first off, Birmingham's the capital. It's like the biggest city in Alabama. But
Yeah, but I mean, Nick,
still town. Yeah. No,
you are correct that it is the capital. It's not a bustling metropolis of millions and millions of people.
I think I was adding context. I was not saying you were wrong.
I mean, it's smaller than Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, like just city proper, you know what I mean? So anyway, shout out to Alabama. No disrespect on this show from your old pal Dan. But that's what I think when I think of this program. I think of this offseason. I think of where Florida's at today versus where they were at 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. And I just don't I've not bought into what it looks like. We've talked about it on the show. You have a 2-year window with DJ Lagway. Is Florida in a better position today to utilize those 2 years?
We haven't changed anything, so
I don't know, man.
What our position would change.
Yeah, I mean, I thought there was going to be people begging in the transfer portal to come pay with DJ Lagway. I assured that it wasn't just J. Michael Sturdivant because nobody had heard of him before. I was told that there'd be people knocking down the door.
You got to answer it.
And were they knocking down the door and we didn't answer? Or I don't know. I think we got good talent. I think we got good players.
Who were like the big outside of Zachariah Branch?
Nick, you go tamper. That's what you do. You go tamper. You go find the people.
Allegedly,
you do
that's
it.
illegal.
This is a parody show too.
I'm not on staff.
It's illegal.
It's not. It's not illegal. Miami just did it, and nothing's going to happen. Ohio State did it. Alabama did it. We've done it. Come on.
Allegedly.
Yeah, we got players on our roster right now, Nick.
Allegedly.
Parody. Everything is parody. Yeah.
Florida would never.
Yeah, I'm just not seeing it, man. It's a 2-year window, and I'm gonna enjoy this 2 years, right? I'm gonna lie. I'm gonna get my takes off, bro. Like I'm gonna enjoy the football. It's gonna be fun because DJ Lagway is gonna make it exciting. But I don't foresee us winning, and reaching our potential with what we got intact. Do I think we're gonna go win some football games to have a good football team? Yes, I think we could continue the trend of how the season ends. But when I start looking at the teams that in the playoffs that are making runs, we're not there yet. And I don't know how long it's gonna take Billy to get to being a coach that well tuned and locked in. It's just like our staff is a big gap from what we're seeing on television, in 2025 in the playoffs, what we saw. We're just not that close, man. And I was hoping, this offseason with contracts ending, supposedly Billy Bob bread for the transfer portal where we could grab a few little kids to make a run here because the opportunity's right there in front of us. But if we're not careful and if this staff and things don't change drastically between the way the fall ended and starting the next fall, like we could very easily be Florida State in 2 years after DJ Lagway leave. That's my overall take.
Yeah, I hope not. And I think that Florida's recruited a bit better than them to be able to avoid that, right? And hopefully, some of the guys they've got through the transfer portal, they've seemed to recruit. Obviously, they have not all made it to campus. They seem to recruit the quarterback position really well. I have some question marks about Florida's 2026 quarterback commit, but that I'm not going to let him catch strays on this show. But I'm curious about their activity in 27 too. I think they're missing on a couple big guys, but I think that Billy Napier has proved that he can get some pretty decent quarterbacks to campus. I think they recruit better. I think they've developed talent better. I don't think it's all mixed as well as it could. And I hope to see changes and improvement there. But I don't know if I see as deep of a fall off, but I mean, he is a 19-19 head coach. So I can't say that it's not implausible. I know we're not making the moves that I think other school would make with a 2-year window. And maybe we're all wrong. Maybe they just are very, very happy with who they have, but
like certain free agents. Like you got a window with a special talent, and like they do recruit the quarterback position well, but they're not recruiting generational quarterbacks or special quarterbacks every single time. They're just recruiting the quarterback position good. I think this staff, with the way they play call, the offense is, you need somebody to elevate that play calling, not just be a good quarterback. You need somebody to be special for this thing to make a run. And then how long do you keep recruits believing in this storyline? Like after the DJ Lagway leave and you got Superman on campus and he don't really hit anything big with Lagway, then what are you selling to the next group of kids, you know?
Yeah. You know, but I think that's a future problem for future Stadium and Gale to worry about. You know, when we're near 7.5 of the show.
Yeah, I'm just going like, what were the misses though?
I mean,
you have to have me pull
like who were the
portal.
Like last year, like in the portal, you had like Evan Turner, like you had the big Ole Miss, you had the big.
You had the San Diego
exodus. You had the big Ole Miss exodus with Quinchon. Like there were some massive names. Like I think Zachariah Branch, Carson Beck were like big names. Maybe it's just me. They weren't like the same kind of names. This Dan Key was kind of a big name.
Yeah, I mean, last year you missed on that offensive tackle that went to Ohio State. Obviously worked out for him. Yeah, I mean, the depth chart here certainly wasn't as deep, you know, as they've been in the past, and maybe they didn't need, you know, some of that talent. But also, I know that some of that talent doesn't just enter with no place to go.
I thought the Nick Anderson kid out of Oklahoma could have been a big piece. It was several receivers that came out. I thought we needed at least two. I thought we needed 2 receivers, right? Would have liked to get him. You had guys. What's the defensive tackle that from North Carolina that we missed on? He ended up going out to USC. I thought we could have used him.
Yeah, I think
correct. Sean Silver.
Yes. But yeah, but that's also like my guy's on his 4th school.
That's just part of the business now.
That I don't like that business. I don't like that business. You're not buying a car, you're leasing a car.
Yeah. I mean, you also didn't get involved with some of these guys that are bigger names, right? Corey mentioned Nick Anderson. You didn't get involved with Dane Key. You definitely need help there. You didn't get involved with Varian Brown. You didn't get involved with, you know, a number of names just kind of scrolling down here. You didn't really bring any offensive linemen on campus, and there's some highly ranked offensive linemen. And listen, they get paid to evaluate talent, and I get paid by Brunt Insurance and Alumni Hall. However,
to be a parody,
right? We're a parody show, but I don't know. And maybe, right? And this is a take 2, right? Like maybe there wasn't an opportunity to get better. I just look at Florida right now, and I don't think, after watching the playoffs, the exhaustive playoff rounds, that Florida is in a better position today than they were 6 weeks ago.
I don't think we need, and I'm still on the right. You need 6 to 8 players if you're doing this thing right annually in the portal. It's just with certain pieces that you got to go grab to just make a run. You know, like we don't expect them to go. I think bringing those guys back, Slaughter, you bring back Caleb Banks, you bring back Sapp. Those are good bringbacks. Like I want to give them flowers for like being able to keep those kids in the fold. They're instrumental pieces to the success we had last season. They're going to be same thing this upcoming season. Those guys are important. But for us to get over that hump and to go make a run with a player like that, I'm thinking you need to go grab another proven receiver to go in that room. You know, I like J. Michael. I think he's solid, but I don't think he's special, you know, to elevate that room. And there were some guys, you know, in state that I thought, and I'm going to stay on the Nick, the dude from Oklahoma. Like I thought Nick Anderson, I think he's going to be a special talent. We didn't even get him on campus because right out the gate, the price tag was kind of heavy. And that's unfortunate, for my mindset. I'm just like, nah, we need to go get that kid. One of the, just like when we started the portal, we all said that we wanted another tackle. Yeah, we even got a tackle on campus for a visit, like it's been a lot of tackle movement, it's been some starters from other proven teams that hit the portal and we didn't even get in on it. Do they may believe in this roster? They may believe in the kids on campus, and they also believed in a lot of kids last year and was wrong. So it's like you didn't have to go heavy, but I thought it was more pieces that we could have got. I think J. Michael Sturdivant is the only kid that's gonna come and probably start. Everybody else is just depth pieces.
Well, yeah, the punter will start, but yeah, no, you're right. I don't remember his name, but no, I think you're 100% right. On that, and I think that there was a lot of slow playing. I think you missed out on the NC State transfers. Obviously, there was some weather issues, but you did.
It wasn't
lose
weather,
out
buddy.
on them, right? And things are going to
It was
happen.
that bad.
Oh well, I was told we had money, but
You got it.
shout out to Florida Victorious.
It's like
they're doing a great job. They're doing a great. No, I do. I'm not at all saying that Florida Victorious doesn't have money. I was just told we were going to spend money.
We
did spend money, and listen,
money on retention.
Right, Florida did retain a lot of players. That if Florida got that caliber of player in the transfer portal, it's a completely different conversation. I totally get that, but I still think Florida has pieces that are missing, questionable coaching decisions, and that's where Florida's at today.
No, there's
I don't want to
nothing's
be
negative
on
No,
today's
this
show.
is just
I feel like I am. Sorry,
conversations
guys.
just, are important. General manager is another one. Whatever they want to entitle that position. I don't know what they want to call it. I know Jacob LaFerre is general manager in title, but LaFerre, my bad, bro. I said LaFerre. My bad. What?
LaFerre.
LaFrance, man. Didn't mean to butcher your name, my boy.
Nick, there's
didn't mean to butcher your name, my boy.
staffers.
Jacob
Can't remember
LaFrance
them all.
is general manager in title, but just looking around the country, it's some big boy checks that's going out for real deal general managers. And I want to see how aggressive we are with paying somebody with experience to come in that role. I was told that Jim Nagy is a guy they interviewed who's interested in the job, but not for what they're trying to pay the job. Jim Nagy is a very experienced dude when it comes to talent evaluation. Like his experience with the Senior Bowl, if you're not familiar with the Reese Senior Bowl, like he's just an absolute legend.
Yeah.
And he knows his stuff, man. But you gotta pay guys like that, bro. That's just what it is, bro. And if we bring in somebody and we give them $200,000 just to count the money. I could count the money.
I think that role would be like vice president of football operations. Just title.
Let's see. Did you know Jim Nagy won 4 Super Bowls?
Yeah, he's trying.
He played in
he's
6 of
low-key
them.
interviewing for some, trying to, his name's getting thrown around into some NFL general manager conversations, like for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So Jim Nagy, if you're not familiar, is the executive director of the Reese Senior Bowl. He was a regional scout with the Seahawks, a national scout with the Chiefs, a regional scout with the Patriots, and a regional scout with the Washington Commanders. A hell of a resume. That'd be solid.
You got to chip in. What you got on it?
I got some dollars.
Who's on the dollar bills, man?
How many dollars does he need, Nick? Yeah. I got some money. Yeah, so that's where Florida's at. So still don't have the vice president of football operations or whatever the actual job title is. We mentioned a couple weeks ago some of the names that have been interviewing. There is an expected decision by the end of January. So we are 4 days away, 3 days if you're listening on your podcast app, until the end of January. Knowing what I know, I don't expect that decision to be made by January the 31st.
There's an important meeting going down Friday, man. and it's going to be about this general manager position and also Ron Roberts. I don't think that's set in stone. We'll see how it all plays out. One of the things going forward is just football. Being a head coach is not the easiest thing in the world. You got to be able to balance the fans, the media, boosters, recruiting, strengthening everything. It's a big job, and if you start to lose booster support, you're going to lose recruiting. That's who's paying the recruits.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that's important to becoming a successful head coach, is being able to manage relationships when it pertains to boosters and, of course, coaches and all of that stuff. But it's an important meeting that's going down Friday. We'll see if who's retained, who's not retained, and if there's any staff changes being made. But as of now, no real additions to upgrade the staff have been made, in my opinion.
Maybe we'll do a Friday pop-up show, depending on.
Well,
Nick, you clear right into the microphone. It lets me feel like I'm in your throat.
My microphone's not working today, so we're doing the.
No, you're fine. There you go.
So we're doing the AirPods. Like I said, there's like, it's not like, I feel like people are kind of like waiting for like they're walking to like the town square waiting for like a public execution on Friday. But I already said like it can just be a handshake. Hey, we're gonna keep you on at the same salary as last year. All right, cool. Like, let's get on the plane and go to South Florida to go recruit. There's not going to be a press release.
You're not going to see the U-Haul truck right outside.
Yeah. Like Jimbo's Christmas tree is not going to be outside. Somebody's lawn, and a reporter or a neighbor takes a picture of. Like, if you're waiting, I know we told you the contracts expire on January 31st, but like, there's not a counting down timer to.
You want to see the people riot? Let Will Harris.
What if there is? Yeah, I mean, if
yes, that would be.
This is a parody
allegedly
show, for sure.
That would be upsetting if Will Harris were to leave. I thought he was a great coach this year. Good recruiter too.
Yeah. Young, hip, cool. So that's where we're at. So still waiting on news on Rob Sale, Mike Peterson.
You don't think Vinny Sinceri's young, hip, and cool?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he's probably cool enough. Like, he was a white safety. Like,
got a little sauce.
You gotta have a little swag.
I don't doubt that he's probably a good coach.
Six on Johnny Manziel.
Title and role that they gave him, and he really don't have a recruiting track record to lean on. We just know he's a Bama guy, so we just expect like it to be contagious and on his skin. Like, he just could recruit just because he went there.
I mean, he's obviously a very talented player. Went to the best college in the country. Coached for one season as a grad assistant at the University of Alabama, and then was in the NFL for the next 4 years. One year at Washington,
by the way,
last year under Jed Fish. Yeah, in the NFL, he's coaching running back.
He's a safety.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that. Like, there's a spot in the NFL. Like, your job as a running backs coach is, yes, to teach running backs, but also to understand what the safeties are doing, how to read the defense and everything else, right? Like, so I'm not as worried about that as much as I am. It's just another question mark that allows the Gator fan base to just continue to have an offseason full of questions.
From relationship ribs to commitment cannolis.
It didn't
thought that was
really round third base.
Yeah. I don't know if it was like the right tenor of the show. You know what I mean? Like,
volume shooter.
Yeah.
Almost not. Pass me the rock. We'll shoot again.
Yeah. You're like, anyway, so that's where we're at. I just, I think if you had a different last name also, it'd be entirely different. Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's
all
a good point.
Completely different. And you can't take that away from him, right? Like, yes, he has the name, but he also grew up under one of the best defensive line coaches in college football history. So I don't want to take that away from him. But if somebody had that background of experience with a different last name that you weren't familiar with, then I think
It's
that the
just
tenor would be
the same
certainly
hire.
a
Like
lot
Patrick
louder.
Toney, Austin Armstrong, and now just 3 very young guys that come from a certain coaching tree, but is inexperienced, man. Like it just screams of hiring friends. And we watched Dan Mullen do it. We watched McElwain do it. We watch coaches fail by keeping friends around. And it just seems more the same. The adjustment most fans wanted to see was Billy Napier mature and elevate his mindset and whatever it may be, coaching style, bring in some different, delegate a little bit, but it feels like we go young and inexperienced, and that's the room that they want. Not a wealth of knowledge, but a wealth of just inexperience.
So we will see. We are waiting on just a few more decisions, maybe by the end of the week. Maybe we'll have a better idea this time next week on what the Gators coaching staff might look like. But that's where we're at. So any additional thoughts? I know there's a comment earlier about Steve Spurrier Jr., former offensive coordinator at Tulsa, got let go. About him, I know there's some news that maybe he's going to join the team as an analyst. I know that he was also a target for some schools for some wide receiver coach positions. So I don't know if that hire is official. I mean, I wouldn't put a ton of stock into it either way. But it's good to have the old ball coach's son, in Gainesville.
We could
just for nostalgia reasons. But again, I'm not putting too much stock in it one way or another. What? Yeah. I feel like Steve deserves a little nepotism,
I'll let that one slide.
Yeah. I'll let that one slide. It's an off the field position. I'll let it slide.
Slide, baby. Baby Steve some checks.
If we want to bring Tebow's child in as an analyst, I'll take that too,
It's a boy.
Do we know if it's a boy or a girl?
Are we covering? Are we doing a gender reveal on stage, Miguel?
Congratulations.
Tebow's gender reveal.
Honestly,
you
joke, but that would do numbers.
Oh my God! Oh, we'd be on Good Morning America.
I believe that will. Yeah, I believe the gender reveal will probably be sold to someone like USA or what's Us Magazine or People Magazine. Like the announcement was purchased by People.
Y'all want to buy it?
That's gotta be nuts to live your life.
I strive to be that level of famous where it's like, man, wife's pregnant. Guess we have to go get it back.
People want to know the name of my kid. It's like a bag for everything too. Like the gender reveal, the name reveal, like everything's a. Shout out to Tebow. He won in life.
He was looking at the kid like, "Hey man, we need you to start walking. And mortgage is coming up. We're trying to get some new furniture for the house.
Yeah, we need to get these first steps on camera.
We really need you to start walking."
Oh man! All right, well, so that's where we're at. Vinny Sinceri, we're waiting on some coaching decisions, and Nick will continue to do his Italian thing. Let's give a quick shout out to our friends over at Game Time Sidekicks. You've seen these cups for years. You've seen them for months recently. Go visit them. Great cup. True story. I put ice water in it on Sunday morning, and it was still there like 6 hours later, as fresh as could be.
That's on you. Drink more water.
Well, I was running some errands. I came back. I drank out of this little circle thing. I'm not going to give them a shout out on what I just did, but not anymore. They're a client of mine in real life. So
shout out, no free shout out.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. Anyway, great product. Love everything about Game Time Sidekicks. I love the owner. I love the product. I love the number of designs that you can have. Hot drinks hot, cold drinks cold. GameTimeSidekicks.com. Use promo code Stadium15. You'll get 15% off of your order. Again, GameTimeSidekicks.com. Promo code Stadium15. We did not mention the orange and blue game last week. That has been announced for April the 12th at 1 p.m. So make sure you're in Gainesville. There's a lot of sports activity that day, if I remember correctly, that they're building around for that. So again, the orange and blue game, they still call it the orange and blue debut. I do, but
they don't. But I do. I still write it like that too.
Well, it sounds better, the orange and blue debut sounds
will be
cooler than the
there.
orange and blue game.
See all 7 plays.
Not
I'm
an
gonna be hyped. I'm
alliteration.
gonna
It's
be
just a
lying,
rhyme.
but I'm excited for the spring game. Haven't been excited for a spring game in a long time, so I'll be in the venue for sure, hanging out. Yep.
I will be.
Smell your cologne.
Yeah. I will not be there. I will be in Mexico. But we're going to use this show as a quick fact
Flying
check.
over the Gulf of America.
Sure. We will. I do want to issue a retraction on the show, a fact check. Montgomery is the capital of Alabama, not Birmingham. Birmingham is the largest city, I believe. And Huntsville is a nice town. I know there's somebody listening from Huntsville. One of the other people that are listening are from Mobile.
Yo, I'm in Huntsville right now catching strays.
Yeah, no, Huntsville is
tapped in to hang out with the guys, and all of a sudden I caught a right hook.
Yeah, no. Shout out to Huntsville. Definitely leaving a 1-star review for the Duval Stand. Don't do that. That's on me, right? Go to my Twitter, rank me 1 star on Twitter. Don't do it for the show. It hurts the algorithms. It's all a joke, right? It's absolutely a joke.
I almost gave our own show 1 star when you said Jacksonville
Beach.
State in Alabama. Like Bama's at Jacksonville was better than our Jacksonville. It's like that's Florida slander right there. No, don't do Duval like that, man. Solid place to get a crab tray, man.
Yeah.
So north enough that.
Yeah. So want to do that. We're going to talk about Todd Golden here in a second, but the news is leaked out, Nick. This was the news that we were going to talk about before. Dallas Wilson is officially enrolled at the University of Florida. Huntsville is the largest city in Alabama now. Okay, well,
so we are not.
Yeah, I will bring up on my almanac later today. Huntsville's beautiful. It's got the space program, all of that. So anyway, Dallas Wilson, 5-star wide receiver, shows off the rails. We need Jordan to keep us on track. 5-star wide receiver Dallas Wilson is officially enrolled. He had to be enrolled by today, by the end of by the end of the day today, to be in this class. Today's the last day of drop ad. So Dallas Wilson, the drama is over, and he will be, he's already in or on his way to Gainesville right now. There was just a couple final things to get done. So that is done, complete, and he is officially a student at the University
so y'all get out my
of
DMs,
Florida.
man. I got 1 million DMs about Dallas Wilson and if he's going to make it in. He's in. So shout out to that, man. Excited. Spring football is going to be fireworks, man. We're going to work the hell out of these 7 plays.
Maybe they'll have 8 with Dallas Wilson. But that's obviously huge news. We had heard right as the show was starting that he was all set to go, but we wanted to get that double checked, fact checked, and everything else, because obviously our fact checker isn't working today. With the number of things that we've gotten wrong. All right, guys, let's do a quick shout out. I want to shout out Home Field Apparel, homefieldapparel.com, promo code Stadium and Gale will get you vintage shirts, about 25 different designs for the University of Florida. Those baseball pullovers will be back in the next couple of weeks, so go check those out. So go visit homefieldapparel.com, use promo code Stadium and Gale, get yourself a new shirt for the orange and blue game, and go visit them. homefieldapparel.com, promo code Stadium and Gale, all one word. All right, guys, big news. Todd Golden has been officially cleared in his Title IX investigation regarding sexual harassment allegations, sexual exploitation, sexual harassment, and stalking. The school released a statement earlier today that there was no evidence and it ended the investigation. The University of Florida takes these matters seriously and works deliberately to ensure that due process is upheld for everyone. After a thorough investigation that included dozens of interviews over the past the University of Florida has found no evidence that Todd Golden violated Title IX. The Title IX office has closed their investigation. Todd Golden had previously said that he would respect the process and did not really speak on it. He did threaten legal action in that process as well. Todd Golden earlier did say, "I'm frustrated and disappointed that a Title IX mechanism that is created to protect both sides during a situation like this, that confidentiality and privacy continue to be abused." And that was after the Torian Green Title IX case. So that's where the Gators are at right now through his attorney. William Shepard, Coach Golden, and I have respected the process throughout while actively engaging with the university. However, there were many who did not respect the investigative process. Instead, they sought to target Coach Golden and drive their agenda in this investigation for their own self-interest. Some leaked confidential material to the media, falsely posed as a UF lawyer in an effort to intimidate, harassed UF students and parents, trying to generate a false narrative, and harassed my family, or my client, his family, and his friends. And it continued by saying that Todd Golden will consider all legal options in the off season. So no shortage of strong words from the attorney, and I think rightfully so. There's a couple of named people that aren't even involved at the University of Florida whose names were thrown into the mix here. So ultimately, a very sad story all around. Certainly, we respect journalism here at the University of Florida. I respect student journalists with the alligator and stories, but I also do respect the idea that these things are private for a reason, and that we should not be dragging in names of people that not only were found not involved, but that the situation itself may not have existed. So that's where we find ourselves
much
with
needed,
Todd Golden.
just stress relief from the team perspective.
Yeah,
I think like just having these type of things linger over a team that can make a championship run could just be just unnecessary distractions. But there's just still some people out there that's, he's guilty. Like, some of y'all are just weird, man. The feds investigated it. If the feds say he's good to go, then he's good to go, man. Let Future Hendricks do his thing.
Sure. Yeah, it's interesting because I think, at the time it was kind of, when it first happened, at the time it was kind of like, man, look at these student journalists, like, really good job. I always tell people, like, I'm a sports writer, I'm not a journalist. Like, journalists cover the White House, or
they cover sports
Ukraine, covering war. Like, there's actually serious journalists. Like, sports is fun. There's like serious journalists. But like this, part of what Todd was saying here, what he said after Torrin Greens became public, was like, this is supposed to be anonymous to protect both parties, because a lot of what happens is, when someone gets arrested and the report comes out, the story comes out, that's just a police report. That is the police's side of the story. And I feel like we rush to judgment, and then we don't have the same energy when someone is acquitted later. It's just kind of like, okay, we're on to the next thing. Who's the next person that we can be mad at? So it's a high bar. I think, me personally, journalistically, that I would have tried to clear. Not like nick the bar as I'm jumping over, the high bar, like clear it easily. I felt awesome that if I reported this a month ago, I would not think that this would be happening. So I think it's going to be a tough lesson for those alligator reporters. Hopefully it will make them better journalists and down the line. But yeah, to report on something this serious, like, now Todd Scott has kids who are going to be getting to the age where they'll be Googling. If they Google dad's name, now you have sexual misconduct, stalking next to, hey, dad, what's this? And now you have to explain that. The assistant coaches, who were not involved at all, but were named in the initial report, had to have their names dragged through the mud. So while I say that, like, we are sports writers, we're not journalists, talking about this kind of stuff, you are delving into some serious journalistic areas, and I think you just have to be really careful when you're reporting these things. I think it sucks. I'm of the mind that, like, when you make allegations like this, if they come up to be phony baloney, like, we need to have some sort of some sort of, like, you can't no, but there should be some punishment for people who accuse. I think you get into a weird area because you want people who are going through things like this, are victims of things of this nature, to feel like they can come forward, but also feel like false accusations make it harder for people as well. So I think the whole situation kind of sucks for Todd, and then for his 2 assistant coaches who literally had nothing to do with it,
right?
But we're just like tagged on. It's like they were like the alligator was like checking out at Publix, and they just like grabbed peanut M&Ms and like threw them on.
It's just like in your personal life when
Mom won't notice.
Like a close friend of yours get caught cheating by his wife. Now he's just like,
well,
you're the neighbor,
club with me too.
Like, hold on.
Well, I had no idea what he was doing.
What days were you at the club? I wasn't at the club those days.
I think.
Yeah.
No, get him out of here.
I do not support this, right?
We just
Jason.
We just kicked him out of the group chat, babe.
Not around me.
Yeah.
Hey, check. I think everybody got to slow down with just allegations in just 2025. Let legal processes play themselves out. Everybody's quick to outrage and to be angry at people, cancel people. When it first came out, I always try to find humor in everything, but there's nothing funny about the situation. But once I found out that likely, like, UF would move quick and swift if they found it was some smoke there that he was somewhat involved. And once Florida put a stern message out, that's in a lot of, just stern messaging, in my opinion, came from Florida when they just stood by him and we're gonna let the legal process play itself out. So everybody just vibe, chill. We're about to go to the Final Four. We just put hands on Mike White, beating people by like 80 points or something crazy. Shout out to Georgia.
Yeah, that was nuts. And the cover at the very end of the game, Gators do cover in that one. Did you guys watch the South Carolina game on Wednesday? So I watched just the last few minutes of it. Glad I did. The Gators were down by I think 16 or 18 points, just kind of a rough go of it. And for some reason, kind of the way Kentucky was able to shoot the lights out, South Carolina was able to shoot the lights out. Made some changes on defense. Gators slowly but surely march back. Gators lead for 5 seconds in the entire game. They just happen to be the last 5 seconds of the game. So Gators win that one. They do beat Georgia. Mike White is, I believe, 0-6 against the University of Florida. It's always a good time because I always like when people retweet the old Gator fans are too hard on Mike White. Why do the Florida Gators think that they should be in the top 5 or top 10, top 25 consistently? And then Mike, I know a couple of them just get angry. It's funny to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, like coward.
Really? He didn't. They sent us a Zoom link, but
yeah, he said I don't know.
I heard he just left in the middle of the game like Princely Manila.
Ran up on somebody. Mike White in section 304.
Mike was looking salty that whole time he was getting blown out. Every time the camera panned to him, he was just looking like, man, get me out of this building.
I mean, like, listen, the situation got so toxic at Florida, a school that will spend money on basketball, a school that has national championships, and you were like, yo, this is toxic. Let me go to Georgia to coach basketball.
Yeah, I will say one.
See it, Dan? There it is. Mike White chose going to like Siberia to be in a Russian prison in terms of basketball, just to be like, you know what? We don't need pressure. They also pay real American dollars here at Georgia, and they don't really care if I go 500 every year.
This weird guy named Silk keep calling me Miguel Blanco. It's time to get out of here.
Back then, it was like some dude with a cartoon avatar and a cigar in his mouth keeps calling me Blanco.
That hosts something called Logo Talk with a gator with a grill and a joint in his mouth.
Let's sue that guy.
But what I was going to say is I will say one nice thing. I hit my cord and my whole microphone disconnected. That I'll give Georgia credit for for getting Mike White out of our contract with him. So thank you, Georgia. The typical Mike White experience is happening once again in Georgia. Old John Rothstein, he won't give my guy Todd Golden a nickname. He won't put him on a shirt. But early this year, he's like, Georgia's not just a bubble team anymore. They were like 14-2. He's like, this is a good program. Buddy, I think they've won 0 SEC games, maybe 1. They stink. I love it.
I don't know how Mike finessed everybody to get these jobs he's getting. Like, I don't know who his dad is.
His family.
Nice guy.
He's got the pedigree.
Nice guy.
He's got that nepotism pedigree.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah, his dad.
Really nice guy.
His dad was the AD at Duke. His brother's the AD at Tennessee. He did okay at Louisiana Tech. And Georgia's probably like, I did well enough at Florida. Their fan base they don't get it. They don't know how good they have it.
I just don't think Georgia cares about basketball.
And that's a shame for a school that produces, or for a state that produces a lot of great talent.
Well, their baseball team stinks too. And that's crazy because Georgia's one of the best states in terms of youth and high school baseball.
Well, there's nothing that brings me more joy, and I can't wait till
those kids could drive. Don't want to be in Athens.
Georgia is 2-5. Georgia is 2-5 in conference. Dan.
Thank you. I know we've got to fact check ourselves on the show today. So,
yeah, well, if any of our facts start and or pertain to Alabama, just assume they're wrong today.
Yeah. Our Alabama Almanac facts are not hitting today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Towards the end of the show, anything else that you guys want to mention or talk about? We'll do one final ad read. I got an exciting part of that ad read that I'm going to share with you guys.
Yeah, we have what's it called? We're doing weekly Q&As with players. Those have been kind of dope. I think it's cool. Florida Victoria is just giving people a chance to sit down for an hour. We did Walter Clayton. I was like sweating during the South Carolina game, Dan. Well, it was like 1 of 7 to start. Yeah. And I'm like, this is not good. Walt's talking to the people tomorrow. Yeah. I don't need a 1 of 7 and a loss on the road to winless in the SEC. South Carolina, I believe.
Yeah, they're the winless one.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah,
7.
They're the winless
one. And we did J. Michael the first week, and then we got Pup Howard talking this Thursday. So that's some cool stuff we're doing over there. Also, baseball started last week.
Okay.
Solid team. And softball, number 1 in the country to start this year. We'll start in 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, excited about baseball. I know that there's a lot of excitement about them. Their odds of winning the College Baseball World Series, I believe, I think they're plus 2,500 right now, according to Bet Online.
Hey, let's pick out a baseball game in Gainesville.
Probably.
Let's figure that out.
That. Nick, you're on mute, my friend.
Miami weekend, February 28th,
in
March
Gainesville
1st, March 2nd. Okay. Dan needs to be yelling at.
Let's do it.
In Gainesville. You had a chance to come to Miami last year.
Yep. So that one guy
George should already be in town. I think he has that event in Gainesville, so I could probably make that happen.
Look at that.
Yeah, Gators, a little betting odds for you guys if you care about this kind of stuff. The Gators are plus 5,000 to win the college football championship, plus 1,600 for DJ Lagway to win the Heisman, plus 2,500 that the Gators baseball wins College World Series, and plus 1,800 that the Gators win the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Those numbers are 4 days old, so they might have slightly changed. If you wanted to parlay that all together, you yourself could turn $100 into $42.9 million. So let's see who the real Gator fans are.
Shout out to Todd Golden before we do get out of here, man. Just shout out to Todd Golden, bro. Basketball is back alive as well. Got a Teflon Todd, bro. I just want to give the dude flowers. Like, I haven't been actively following Gators basketball game by game and interested, in a long time. These last 2 years have been dope. Team's fun to watch. They play team ball, defensive side of the ball. The press was good stuff to watch, man. On the defensive end, they score buckets. They can shoot the 3. Hopefully we get a big man back here soon. We'll see what's up. But the team's fun to watch, straight up. And
yeah. No, they play an enjoyable game of basketball to watch. I met
3 really talented guards. The big men can shoot too. They recruit to. It's not like it's not like by happenstance that they're so good in the offensive boards, but it's crazy to watch how good they are on the offensive boards.
And they're missing their former center from last year.
To get him back. Well, a guy that just could take momentum and run with it. Like he took last year and he compounded on it, even with the offseason recruiting, everything just seems to snowball into more momentum. So I just want to give him the flowers. I want to hop on a bunch of negative things. And then football, bruh. I'm excited about spring football. I'm gonna continue to talk about it, cover it. It's gonna be fun, man.
Yeah, the Gators.
I feel like we need to.
Oh no, I'm hyped. I just gotta keep it real.
Up.
Yeah,
good for your mental health to be aware of the entire situation, so you can't spring 2 wins on people like Florida State fans did, like media did last year. They fans went a little crazy because there was no realness of what's really happening around the football program. So we just gotta keep it real.
Well, there wasn't a single player on Florida's defensive line that could start at Florida State. Not a single one.
Can you imagine you book your hotel preemptively in Charlotte for the ACC championship game, and your team wins 2 full games, and one of them is against an FCS team that I believe went 1-11. I mean, that's nuts. And the other one was just Cal dropping the ball.
Cal let the set down. They should have never lost that game. Straight up.
So peel the curtain back a little bit. Sometimes you just report what coaches tell you. You get locked out of stuff. Another shout out to Florida Victorious. I will not be locked out of practice. I'm gonna be holding the gate when the rest of the media leaves. But sometimes you just say what coaches say. But I would have had a sternly worded text message to the coach who led me to publish that this is the best defensive line Florida State's ever had. And then Georgia Tech.
You just can't speak that boldly about another man's roster without really knowing their roster. I don't think Bud had real good intel of what Florida had.
Well, no, I don't mean Bud. I mean all their local media, War Chant, their 247 site, their rival site. Everyone was like, "Yep, Florida State reloaded, best defensive line, and this and that, and got DJ Ukulele. He's going to be great." And I was like,
we predicted that. We predicted the fall off on this show,
fourth school,
right? And I don't think it was just because we hated Florida State. It's just, you could see the talent drop off. I hate them with a passion.
Well, we did.
But I'm willing to admit when they're good and when they're bad. You know what I'm saying? That was going to be a bad football team. They're about to run it back. It's going to be another bad football team. Do I think they win more than 2 games? They may win 4 or 5. Schedule's a little bit easier this year, but that's a 5-win team that they got out there. And then they're going to be back to square one. We're trying to find a quarterback in the portal again. But just you got to just be real with your team and where you at with it, man. We can't wear orange and blue goggles on here. We got to talk about the staff, the players, the talent, every position just comes with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So we will always keep it real on this show. We will pump sunshine at times. We will say things that people disagree with. Sometimes we will say things and then we'll say it's a parody show or allegedly after.
Curveballs,
we'll do all
baby.
of those things.
I will tell you.
And for the last 5.5 years that we've been doing this show, we've always tried to keep it as real as we possibly can. We appreciate the couple thousand people listening on X. We appreciate all the people watching on YouTube. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Please do go rate us on the Spotify and Apple podcast platforms. Please do not give us a 1-star because Dan makes jokes about Jacksonville.
Respect Jacksonville, man.
Give us at least a 4-star and just say it would have been a 5 if it wasn't for Dan's thoughts about Jacksonville. I do love every listener, whether you are listening on YouTube, whether you're listening on X, whether you're listening on the traditional podcast platform, or whether you catch
all
the
listens
show.
Matter.
What? Yeah, all listens matter. So we appreciate each and every one of you. Jordan will be back next week. We'll give a final ad read to our friends over at Alumni Hall. Go visit alumnihall.com or go visit them in Gainesville on Archer Road. starting on February 1st, lasting through the entire month of February, you will be able to get 20% off at Alumni Hall. Great opportunity. Spring will be not too far from them, which means for many of you, golfing will be back open. It means that you can dress for gymnastics or basketball or the orange and blue debut. You can get any UF sports team there. Any product that you could ever want. Alumni Hall is going to have the most exhaustive list for the Gator fan in your life. So go visit them on alumnihall.com or on Archer Road in Gainesville. And stay tuned for that promo code next week. So with that, I broke some news on Corey's podcast yesterday. I wasn't on it, but I did it in the chat. I want to give a condolences to the families, and this is going to be Song of the Week of Atlanta-based rapper DJ Unk. No relation to our Uncle Silk, but
a few people thought I died.
Walk It Out and Two Step are songs that are probably not even great songs, but they were fun songs. They're part of my growing up and college and everything else.
Oh, what is Dan doing? Dan got the flowers and then smacked them up against the wall beforehand.
I said that they were important.
He's like, yeah,
okay songs.
Yeah. Made some mediocre songs.
No, they were probably fun.
Flowers, smashed them on a table and handed
But I said after, but they're important to me and where I grew up and songs that I listened to, nostalgic reasons. I like DJ Unk, a little Walk It Out, or a little Two Step. So
Dan, listen, these allegations, this is a parody, but feels like you're trying to
walk it back a little bit.
Swagger jack. Feels like you're trying to swagger jack me a little bit.
You snapped last week. You snapped. Shouted low snap.
The streets were talking.
Shouted low throwback.
You're like, man, I went down
rabbit hole, bro. I got nostalgic. I remember where I was at when I first heard them Shouted Low records, bro. For sure. Who was in the car with me? Yeah. I'm married, so I can't bring it up.
I can see why you think that, Nick. I did not anticipate that DJ Unk would be passing away just days before the next episode of Stadium and Gale. So rest in peace, DJ Unk. And we'll walk it out with Song of the Week.
This isn't about me.
It's about DJ Unk. That's right.
South Florida legend, man.
Not about me.
Shout out to DJ Unk. All right, guys. We'll see you guys at the same corner, same time next week. And we appreciate you guys listening.